Did you just start playing disc golf and you're really not sure what to get? Or maybe you know somebody who's played for a long time, but you don't know what to get them and you want to get them something really cool for the holidays. Well, hang around. I'm going to be bringing you a disc golf gear guide for 2023. You might be wondering, why am I doing a gear guide separate? And doesn't that kind of fall into the other videos? Well, I was looking back and yeah, I was starting with that approach. I think it makes more sense to keep the gear a little bit separate. I do have some affiliate links that I'll be throwing in here and there, so they do help support the channel. If you want to support us, please use those affiliate links down below throughout this video. And know that I'm also going to be focusing other videos that are completely about learning, or maybe it's about the nutrition process. But to be fair, money spending and trying to avoid money spending is a priority for a lot of us right now. So I don't want to just come from some place of privilege and act like, oh, you can just afford everything. No, probably it's going to be a struggle to afford things for some people, and I want to make this as easy as possible for you to just get going. So on that note, let's get going. Let's talk about hydration a little bit. The main thing I'm going to say really is keep hydrated. Right? Disc golf, this is something I think people don't sometimes notice, because you know, when you're a runner and you go out for more than 45 minutes, of course you're going to bring water. But disc golfers, when we tend to go out for an hour and a half to 2 hours, I don't see people always bringing water. Now, I could make a ton of recommendations about water, but at the end of the day, you can make this really simple, right? You can just go get a Camelback or something like this. These are great. This one's insulated. It's a podium model, and it'll work just fine. However, if you want to get a little fancy, or especially if you're looking to gift a water bottle to a disc golfer you know, every brand tends to have their own water bottles. This is Innova's. I looked these up. I think Innova's actually made some design improvements on these since I owned them, but they work really well. They're double wall stainless steel, kind of like a Hydro Flask. They are not perfectly compatible with Hydro Flask tops. There's like a 1mm difference, so they will leak if you try swapping them. I just want to give you that warning now, because I did try it and it didn't work out so great. But that's okay, because the top that the Innovas come with is perfect for disc golf. It flips open, it has a really long straw. I don't like having to tip and pour stuff when I'm out in the field. A lot of times I want to watch in case somebody else is throwing and there's a disc coming or something like that. But the important thing is to stay hydrated. Hydration Booster can be a cool way to add a little more hydration without having to add extra water to your pack. And that's going to be important during the summer, because you can get waterlogged if you try taking like 2 gigantic water bottles with you. You might overhydrate, and that can be a bit of a problem too. So consider hydration boosters in areas where you're getting that hot. You know, if it's a hot summer, or you're doing really long courses, a hydration booster may help you make that water go a little bit further. But the most important thing is just, yeah, get some kind of hydration in.
The first number on the disc represents speed. The second number on the disc
I'm not going to talk about that. A lot of people have done videos on disc speed and all the cool numbers, and they do mean a lot. Check out a local disc golf store to learn more about what all this stuff means. Don't listen to somebody on the internet explaining this kind of thing. You really feel these in person and see how the discs handle. And on that note, discs are not a good gift idea, generally speaking, because unless you know what the person wants, you don't know what the person wants. And that's going to make it really hard to get the right disc. So if you see one that's just really to hang up on the wall, looks really cool, and you know they like that, go for it. There's nothing wrong with those kind of discs at all. But if it's to actually be played with, yeah, just maybe take them to a shop. So, what I talk about? Towels. Towels are great. I talked about them in the previous video. So, moving on. Another good thing to talk about, dry sacks. There's a lot of different versions of these on Amazon, and most of them are pretty cheap. I wouldn't spend more than 10 bucks on it. But kind of a cool gift idea, a little stocking stuffer, because these are super important. Winter, snow gets things wet. Summer, you're sweating. There's always a reason to need to dry up hands a little bit more. They last a pretty decent time.
You know my thoughts on shoes from the previous video. Xero Shoes affiliate link below. Please take a look, it helps support my channel. clothing. Well, first things first, can you wear anything for disc golf? Yes, wear whatever you want. This is mostly a comfort thing. That said, you will find that there is disc golf specific clothing if you're into that kind of thing, and if you're looking for a gift, you can find these funny ones like the digital shirt I have there, or you can find some by the brand that the person you're buying for likes, whether that's Innova or Latitude 64 or Dynamic Discs. There's a ton of different brands. You can also use jackets like the one you see here. They can be great for these colder fall sessions. And you'll see I use the same pair of pants on a lot of these. Those are the Prana Bryons. They are waterproof, they are breathable, they have stretch, probably the ones I use the most for various disc golf events. Long sleeve shirts can be fun too in the fall if you want that little extra range of motion without being tied down with a jacket. And lastly, although I don't have one pictured this time around, don't forget waterproof jackets can be really important if you live in an area with a lot of lighter rain.
Well, hey up there. Let's talk about some bags, because you're going to need a way to carry your discs at some point if you're using more than one. So beginners are probably going to start with something like this. Discraft. This is just a very, very basic. Holds about 5 discs, one up front, has a little stash pouch in the middle, it has a little Velcro tie for the top, it zips closed. Now this one will fit a water bottle, although it's very tight. This is about the biggest we could fit in there, was the size of these ones. You can, however, fit a disc grabber on this. So let me show you a little trick. When you have your disc grabber in a bag like this, the biggest problem is it's going to move side to side and tend to fall out. Well, if you get one of these very, very cheap little carabiners, you can just clip it on to the strap, and because I've got the thin side out, it will kind of stop itself from moving down and keeps that nice and tight when I'm walking around, makes less noise, catches on stuff less, and generally hasn't been a problem. Next up, let's talk about a little bit bigger bag. This is the Grip EQ CS1 model. They do have the CS2 out now, and CS2 just has some room for patches on the front, which, hey, patches are great. I've got nothing against patches. This one holds about 3 up top, and then about 6 in the center area, divided here. You could maybe push that to a few more if you really wanted to, but so you fit comfortably about 8 to 10 discs in here. You can fit 1 putter up front. There is room for a little dry sack in there. You know how much I love those. You can fit markers on the side. One of the most important things about this is its ability to hold hydration though. So remember these, they fit perfectly in these side pouches. And they're actually very secure. They don't go anywhere. It's great. And there's 2 of these. So if you really want to push it, you could bring 2 32-ounce bottles with you. On top of that, it does have that nice isolated top zip section, which, you know, your most commonly used discs can sit in. Everything is really easy to grab on this one. You have a really great back little holder area too. Fit some face tissue in there. You can fit a phone in here if you want, some sunglasses, some keys, whatever. It just makes it a little bit easier to move around the course with less in your pockets. The padding is fantastic. The padding on the strap is really good too. It's got a really nice texture so it doesn't slip or move around, and it has a lot of different loops. So if you want to carry your towel more up by your shoulder area, you could do that. It has some additional loops for it. Again, this is the Grip CS1. Grip CS2 is just a little bit newer model, but basically the same thing. Either one I think you'd be happy with. Some of you are going to be saying, well, okay, dude, I don't like side bags. Okay, cool. Well, let's talk about backpacks then. So before I bring out any of my backpacks, I want to mention that these are getting into expensive territory, right? Because we're talking about Grip EQ, and they are notoriously one of the more expensive bag companies. It's because they're worth it. They last. But to be fair, not everybody has the money to afford all kinds of Grip EQ bags. They're very expensive. You can start off with Innova. I'll definitely have a link down below for Innova's factory store. They sometimes will clearance or have older models of bags for as cheap as $30 to $40. Great way to save some money and start off with a bag. However, if you want to step up, if it's time to move on to a little more serious bag, one that I recommend to a lot of people is Smack Disc Golf. They do these incredibly bright, brilliant colors, and they're just really fun to look at. We don't have one on us, but I'll throw a picture of one up on the screen. We gift these bags to a lot of people because they are just, again, really good. I think the design's really good, and they last a long time, and they look really fun. So take a look at those. What I actually use are, again, grippy cues. This is the smallest version, and this particular model holds about 14 discs according to them. 3, 4 up top, probably about 10 in the body, so that makes sense to me. I generally don't hold more than about 12 in it. Same pockets, so you've got the same pockets here on the sides for markers or notebooks, what have you. You can definitely fit nice dry sack in there. This one does have the Velcro area, so if you want to slap some different brand stuff up on your Velcro there, you certainly can. It's got a really big, spacious pocket up top. This one will also hold the cell phone up top. It's got little individualized pockets in there. It holds keys, and you can fit a lot in the top area of this one. So this one's really convenient. You can fit a lot in the side pockets. Again, you can fit one of those 32 ounces or 2 of those 32-ounce bottles if you're really thirsty. It's got great padding on the back as well as this little inside zip section. You can put a phone in there, stuff that's fairly flat. It doesn't hold a ton in there, but hey, it's a nice little extra pocket. It's always good to have extra pockets. It's got dual mounts here, so I've just tied a little hand sanitizer on one side and my towel on the other. Just makes life a little bit easier on the course. So these bags do come in men and women's models. I have not seen a ton of difference. This is my fiance's version, the women's model. Basically the same. If the only noticeable difference I've seen so far is that the towel holders are triangles. And on mine, it's like the letter D. That's what I got. Otherwise, they don't seem to have changed very much between the two. But that's it. This is about a year old now. And look at that color. I mean, goodness, that is really hung on to a great color there. So I have to say these grippy Q ones and anything that has this kind of protection on the bottom, these are gonna last longer. Because her previous bag, she wore straight through the bottom. It's because you place your bag down a lot in disc golf. You're gonna have to put your bag down when you're at the starts, of course, right? And that's concrete. It's probably gonna get worn through, or if you don't have room to put it on the concrete, it's gonna get put off-road somewhere. And the thing is, don't be impatient when you're on the course. Do put your bag down when you shoot, because it's gonna throw your balance otherwise. But that means you have to have a bag that you can comfortably put down and not have to worry about it. So just a couple of things to keep in mind. I hope that's very helpful to you.